We are supremely black. We are Flake, Rose, and Spears, dropping content that matters. How y'all doing this week, fellas?
Doing all right, man. Can't complain. Football season has started. Got me a little bit excited about that. Going out watching some little bit of college has been going on. Watching some NFL that's been going on. We just recently talked about the NFL and the protests and everything. And some of the stuff they doing. They actually doing more than I thought. A little bit more where the players are. Some teams are not coming out there the national anthem. I didn't know they was gonna sing the black national anthem before the regular national anthem. So they're doing a little bit more than I thought they was gonna do. So some teams are taking advantage of not stepping out for it at all. Some teams are kneeling. Some people standing. The same old, same old. But it's good to see that they playing the black national anthem before the regular national anthem. We just want to make sure when the message is not being missed throughout all. I hope this just. I promise every week I'm saying like I hope this just ain't a gimmick. I hope this ain't some propaganda to satisfy folks for the time being and get everybody on par. But I just say I never thought the NFL would do this much, to be honest with you. Outside of that, my week.
Hold on real quick. Before you go, Rose, I see you getting your Kanye on. You trying to make sure that people can see what you represent. That's why I'm over here laughing, because I see you prepared and everything.
Getting everything together, man. But yeah, it's
man, don't nobody care nothing about that team, man.
Hey man, all I can say right now we 7-7. We could talk about some other teams, but that don't matter. But nah, man, it's been a super cool week, man. I can't complain at all. The NFL is dope. Shout out to all the players, the coaches that have participated in the stance of definitely with ending racism and put some things into action. It's definitely a good thing to see football back in place, but also seeing people stand on their word. But one thing that I did not care for when I did check out the game with Houston and the Chiefs, shaking my damn head at them fans that was booing them people standing in unity, man. Like that's the exact reason right there. Like that's why I want people to continue to stand for what they stand for in regards to it. And it's definitely bigger than a flag, but for you to boo people standing in unity, that's where America is, and this is why we can't allow the negativity to overpower what the ultimate goal is. So to all of you all that had the nerve to boo, you're the same reason of why we're in the same predicament we're in right now. But overall, it's been a good week, man. What about you, Spirit?
Yeah, that was the dumbest shit ever.
Dumb, yeah, it's just ignorance, man. Ignorance.
My week been good. A good weekend. Got to spend time with some family. Laid my aunt to rest, but still got to link up with family, spend time, see my cousins, my grandma and stuff. You know, due to COVID and everything, there ain't too many family functions going on, if any. And so it was a good thing. Bad circumstances, but good thing to get together with family. You know, chill, eat, laugh, clown, watch some sports and everything. So. Yeah, so my week's been good. I'm not gonna talk about football right now. I'm just gonna say, them Clippers, they might be in trouble tomorrow. Them Clippers might be in trouble tomorrow. So that's why I'm gonna take it.
Look out,
because they've been giving up 19 and 16-point leads in the third and fourth quarter. So game 7, I'm gonna be watching it. So we're gonna see about that one.
Definitely. I really hope that Denver can pull it off because, honestly, I said this before the playoffs even started, that Denver was going to be a threat in the bubble. And I think they really would have been a threat if people actually had to travel to their stadium with the elevation. But that's a solid team, man, because Jokic, serious, and Jamal is a problem for anybody. And what the Clippers and the Lakers does not have is anybody that could stop the point guard for real. So that's why they're being exposed. So we're going to see. I hope the Nuggets can pull it off. I like cheering for the underdog.
Until they play Bron, right?
I mean, yeah, then it's this reality sets in. It's king time. We got time for that. But that's still going to be a dangerous matchup, man. Very dangerous matchup. So people would think that he'll walk through them. I'm not a believer that. I think they'll win, but it'll be a struggle like the Clippers doing.
Yeah.
Everything you need, honestly. And they play together.
Yeah.
Flake,
Flake, I'm gonna let you pop off the conversation this week because you're the one who inspired it. So you could pop it off and lead it the way that you want it to go, and then we'll jump in and add our little research and 2 cents in. So go ahead.
All right. On this particular episode of the subject, we're gonna talk about family. I just need y'all to listen. I don't need y'all to take nothing out of context and run with it and say, nah, they ain't really supremely black. I don't need none of that going on. I need y'all to take your time and listen and pay attention. We're going to talk about something serious this week. When it pertains to Black Lives Matter organization and what they mean. It's not the first time I've heard this. I've heard this subject matter come up on several occasions before, like a couple years back. Like a year back, I'm sorry. And then here it is again, it's being brought up, is that is Black Lives Matter strictly for the LGBTQ community and not really caring about Black men in particular, but just pushing the agenda of the LGBT. And I know I'm probably missing some letters, so y'all gonna have to give me community. Okay. So, and before we start, I just like to read, because I went on the website, I read pretty much almost the entire website. I'm sure it might be something I missed. I was doing it at work, and then when I got on work as well, and I was doing my research on it, and I did some studies and whatnot. So the part that everybody is going off about is basically on the website. It says we make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead. We are self-reflective and do the work required to dismantle cisgender privilege, and to uplift Black trans folk, especially Black trans women, who continue to be disappropriated, impacted by trans, and I don't know, I ain't gonna lie, against trans violence. Y'all probably gonna be mad like that nigga don't read for real, but I ain't got time. We trying to figure out the word right now. We practice empathy and engage comrades with the intent to learn about and connect with their context. We make our spaces family friendly and enable parents to fully participate with their children. We dismantle the tutorial practice that requires mothers to work double shifts so they can mother in private, even as they participate in public justice work. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. We foster a queer affirmative network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking, or rather the belief that all in the world are heterosexual unless disclosed otherwise. So a lot of people are up in arms about that and what that is saying on their website. And some people, if you notice, when I read that, and I stopped and read a couple of things twice because those are key points that people keep going back to. But if you notice, I read that, and at one point mentioned a cisgender male or a straight man, as what cisgender means. A straight man, a heterosexual person. Doesn't mention it at all. It's just basically affirming that, heterosexual women, we support you 100%, especially those who have a father in the house that have to work 2 jobs. And we support that, and we support all trans women, which are men who have transported to, which are people that were born as a man or as male and transformed over to a female, and then trans men, which are people born female that has transformed over to a male. So they make sure they bring that up a few times on the website. I've read throughout the website, and the mention of a straight man is not mentioned for what I see as far as words go. Now I'll let you guys, give your thoughts on it, and then I will tell you where I did see this at though on the website. and we'll see how y'all feel about that as well. I'll let y'all go first before I get my thoughts on it.
You could take it, Rose, first. I just want to say, Floyd, you need to start off some audio books and start picking up the actual book, Floyd.
Hey, man, it's one word on here. I know this word got to be new, man. I was transantagonistic. That's what it was.
I'm going to be like 50 on your ass. I'm going to start sending memes out and everything.
That's what it was, man. I didn't, when he hit me, though, the Uncle Nearest, I guess he hit me for a second, too, that I've been jerking on. And my mind said, we ain't got time to try to figure this out.
But yeah, to answer your question, man, like with the Black Lives Matter movement, I just think that this is a very important topic. It's a lot of people that have asked us to speak on this, and honestly, we've kind of shied away from it just due to a lot of the things that you had spoke about at the beginning is how people view it. And I'm pretty sure this is going to come with criticism, but it's just a conversation that just needs to be had because for me, Black Lives Matter is a movement. It's a statement because it really does, right? But when you look into some of their views, that's when people are starting to question it, which, you know, at the end of the day, everybody lives their life. They do what they do. But I just think people need to be very mindful of how they support certain things because nothing wrong with the Black Lives Matter movement at all. But when it originally started, and definitely my empathy goes out to the people that have lost their life that were Black transgenders, because I remember when it was a couple instances where I think it was like a guy that had died or was found killed at a truck stop in Nashville, Flake. I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago. And there's a lot of instances across America that it has occurred. And there was a real attack on Black transgender women. And it's not right. However, that is how the Black Lives Matter movement started. They just didn't put Black trans lives matter, right? And I've always known that. So it was just when people started to donate money and get into that, if that's where your heart is, truthfully, then, you know, by all means, support it. But when you look into like the website and some of their political views, because that's definitely what it is, when you look at the funding and things of that nature, you just have to be very, very mindful of what you're supportive of, because that could give the wrong impression, and you're also, your money may not be going towards what you're really thinking that it's going toward, which could really put us even further behind the 8 ball than we think that we may be. And it's a tough conversation, and I get it, but be cautious of that and definitely do your research, because I know I've did it for years. But yes, we definitely, Black Lives does matter, but when you look at it from a political view, I would definitely ask everybody to look at it from an unbiasedness. Take your feelings away when you do kind of look at it. It's gonna challenge your thinking, and it's not coming from a judgmental standpoint. But a lot of the things that we feel that we're supporting by supporting the Black Lives Matter political view is actually going completely opposite from what we would think, just because of that. And it's a lot of it is based off of our oppression or our fear or just our anger from being mistreated for over the years. And depending on how you may look at it, it may not be something that you're really wanting to support. The statement, absolutely, 100%, everything Black. But the political views will give you a different perspective. And I kind of save a little bit more for when we dive a little deeper into it. But Spears, what's your initial thoughts?
Brother, you basically said everything I was going to say, and if not more, but just to hear my words for our listeners and our supporters or whatnot, I would say we as a people or culture, we have to be more cognizant of what we just jump behind without doing the research. or will we put our mouths on or speak down upon or glorify and give praise to without knowing the full backstory? So, perfect example. Just because I know this is locker room talk amongst man and woman, and also barbershop talk or beauty salon talk amongst man and woman. So the whole Daryl House Jr. thing or whatever the case may be, talk about he most likely cheated on his wife, but we don't know the truth. But then a lot of people are putting their mouths on it and, condemning the man, but they really don't know what happened. And some people are saying the man is innocent and they really don't know what happened versus letting the facts come out, being quiet, just letting that man go through what he went through or whatever the case may be. If he did cheat, that's between him and his wife and his God or whoever he serves. But that's not something we as a cultural community should be talking about, putting our mouths on, because if our skeletons came out our closet, or if people perceive some of the things that we did, there wasn't even nothing wrong, but they were saying it was bad, we would be all, ready to fight somebody or ready to go to arms or whatever the case may be. And so what we have to do as a people, as far as the Black Lives Matter group and everything, is just research what we support, because you hit one thing on the nail, Rose, when you said because of what's going on in America and in the culture and in, throughout cities and cities, state to state, a lot of people are supporting Black Lives Matter because that's the chant that's going around. That's the thing. And so that's what they know to support. And so they're putting money, sending money to Black Lives Matter for social injustice, for legislation to be changed or whatever, for what they think. But then Black Lives Matter is putting that money for things of LGBTQ plus community, towards them and towards their rights and their plight. And so I'm not going to say they're being disingenuous and they're really trying to mislead people on purpose, but it falls on you if you are being misled and you send, let's just say you send $10,000 if your pocket's long like that, and then you expect it to go to something for George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or Ahmaud Arbery or any of the plethora of Black people who've been killed unjustly or even arrested and beat up unjustly and still have their lives. But it's straight going to the LGBTQ plus community. So it might be going to a pride parade, or it might be going towards something else. And then you come to find out later and then you mad, that falls on you. Not really on them, because again, as we did and as Flake did, the information is there. It's there if you research it. And so that's all I would say. And then, like you said, when we dive deeper, I'll add in, but you basically hit everything on the head for me, Rose.
And I'm glad you brought up that money aspect of it, Spears, because that's a lot of people's problem too. They saying Black Lives Matter, they have earned, or over $40 million have been donated to Black Lives Matter. They like, well, where is this money going? And nobody can say, hey, we took $1 million of that and set this over here. We took $1 million of that and set this over here. Now the website does say that we are fighting for, people that are wrongly accused of crimes and, help try to fight them get out of jail. It does also mention that, for those who are killed unjustly, they fighting for that. But nowhere on there it mentions we donating towards any of that. So that's the problem. A lot of people are like, okay, if I'm gonna donate my money, can y'all at least tell me that Black Lives Matter funded something? Which I'm not gonna say they taking the money and the co-founders are getting rich off of it. I'm definitely not gonna say that. What I will say is, like you said, you can't be mad if your views are one way and you donate that $10,000 and you come to find out that 5,000 of your 10,000 went to a shelter for homeless transgender people. You know what I'm saying? And that's something you totally against. Can't be mad at them. I'm not mad either way what they do for the money, because to me, the statement itself is bigger than what they have on the website. To me, and some people don't take that wrong in saying that I don't think we should help our Black LGBTQ plus community. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is the statement Black Lives Matter covers everybody who's black or people of color, regardless of what you do, regardless of what you do behind closed doors. I'm those people, I really don't give a damn about what you do behind closed doors. My heart hurts, regardless of what you do as a person and you end up getting killed. That regardless if you if you was born male and you want to be female now, if you're born female and want to be male now, none of that matters to me. If you are killed and you are a black person, it really touches home because, there could be a cousin, there could be a family member, there could be somebody who's really close to me in that situation. So, so I think the statement itself is bigger than that. But like I said, people are arms because it does not mention a man in writing outside of being transgender on their website at all. Now, when I did my research on the website, what I did see was a video for 2020 that did have married men and women couples on the video. So I did see that, and it's not like a quick frame. If you blink, you miss it. It's a few on there. It's a few on there that do that. There's a few couples on there for that. So so I did see it there. My thought is that, and I could be wrong because I'm not them and I'm not in that mind. But when I read it and when I read it with an open mind, I took it as you had to mention everything else to make sure it's a safe place for those people in their community, assuming that black men are protected. And that's how I took it. The other people are taking it other ways, and you can have your own opinion on that. But that's what my thoughts was on it. I thought they did all that in the mind of assuming the black man is protected and the black man, the whole original thing is about the black man being killed unjustly, and that fathers will be there as parents and whatnot. When we talking about family friendly, that it's gonna be fathers there, it's gonna be husbands there, But welcome up to, if you a same sex married couple with a child, you are welcome also. That's how I feel. And I could be wrong, and they could come out and do an interview. And that's the thing. Nobody's hearing from the three co-founders. Nobody. They're not making this statement. They're not putting anything out there saying, "Oh no, that's not how we're going about this." They just sit back and being quiet. Which, some people say you don't sound ignorant or you can't make a mistake by not saying nothing. But at the same time, you can by not saying nothing. At the same time. So, I would like to hear from those ladies. I would like to hear from somebody from leadership because there are different branches throughout the United States that have leaders. And I would love, one of them if this podcast getting the hands of one of them, they hear this, I would love for them to reach out and let us interview them and ask questions or whatnot. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you because as you look at the website, you would definitely see some. It's a lot of great points that they do make when you think about the oppression, the equality, and uplifting black people. I completely 1,000% stand behind that stance. I just think, like, to our point is that, as we're going to continue to do research, and this will not be the last time that we speak on it because I'm of the understanding that people are going to want to hear more. That's why we're keeping it being level-headed as possible with discussing this. And I think it's just necessary that you do your research, and I think it would be very impactful if those three co-founders came out and addressed some of the questions or concerns that people may have, as we are in a place to where we're really looking for change. And when you think of it, Black communities do lack that political power, and we understand that everything shouldn't be political, but we also have to be realistic to understand that that's the game in America. So when you do have a party or a supportive group that is being funded, you need to know of what their real, not just their mission statement, but what is their end goal. And so that's what I like to know about anything before I support it is, what do you ultimately want to come out of this situation or for people supporting you? And, before you judge to say, oh, they don't want men or anything like that, let's just give them the right to address it because it could have been coming from a stance, and we've even had a episode on it where it's queen protection. If that was something that we were really, really focused on within our community, that wouldn't be something that we'd have to address. It would be something that we were already doing. So, of course, that's very key. But just the lack of not mentioning men in this particular case, I think is huge, because when you think about the Black community, I grew up with my mother just raising me and my two sisters by ourselves. Things could have been completely different with having a man in the house. And I've seen people, and that doesn't make you successful just because you have a father in the house, but a father being absent causes way more problems than it does if they're present, especially if they are a real father and not just somebody that, created a child. So I just think that piece is missing is key. And it definitely is going to bring people to question what's the real motive if you're not bringing the Black family as your overall stance.
Nah, I definitely agree. And then just to add on to what you said, and I'm going off the top of my head, so my numbers can be a little bit misconstrued, but it is, and you could Google this, it is proven that a father not in the household, especially in the Black community, is like missing a whole college education. So it's like $250,000 or something, I want to say, or maybe a little bit more or a little bit less, of the importance on the impact of it is to a child up to that dollar amount. So that's how essential it is for a Black father to be with his children versus not with his children, or even if they're not in the same house, because things happen, you don't always have to be together, but to be a present father versus an absentee father. And so when the lack of acknowledging heterosexual man, cis man, whatever word you want to call it, or the technical word, because I don't want to offend nobody, so I'm not trying to be offensive if I'm not using the correct terminology in y'all world. But when the lack of acknowledgement of everybody, and this is what y'all are supposed to be fighting for, is y'all rights, or we're trying to fight for our rights, but then you discriminate or you discredit or you don't show, and I don't want to say reverence, but you don't show respect to everybody under that umbrella. So then you become the very people that you supposedly don't like or disagree with or oppose, because all that matters now is what you want to do. And so you forget everybody else, and then you kind of undermine and demean everybody else by just saying, oh, we only care about transgender man, transgender women, gay's not the right, homosexual males or homosexual women, or we're only doing this for that. And so therefore you start to negate everybody else who falls under Black Lives Matter, or everybody else who's trying to do something and who are still out there trying to protect y'all, even though they might be heterosexual. And so that's the thing that I wish, as you said, Flake, they would address it, they would come out, or again, if this falls into their hands, we can interview them and ask them the proper questions, and also give them the platform to speak their voice and tell how they really feel. But we just have to be careful. And this is one of my mottos, like, and I'm trying to change my logic just a little bit, but I just don't support anything. And so even when I go out to protest, I rarely ever scream Black Lives Matter, because one, I knew how they, or what their mission and their vision was, and so what they was founded on. But two, I also don't like supporting something that I know has no alliance to what I have purpose for, what I'm passionate about, or what I care about, and their main focus is something totally different. And so therefore, I'm not saying that, oh, what they're doing isn't powerful, isn't righteous, isn't a good thing. However, I'm just not gonna get behind and start screaming Black Lives Matter and catapult them in somewhere where what I'm catapulting is something that I really don't even agree with or fool with. And so that's my thing. And it goes back to just we have to do more with, or we have to know more and be better at opening our mouths or closing our mouths, supporting or degrading something when we didn't even do the research ourselves and we just jumping on the bandwagon or following what everybody else do. And so again, I don't know if y'all want to go somewhere else with the whole Black Lives Matter thing, because I know kind of repeating myself or kind of repeating ourselves as far as that. But again, I do commend y'all for what y'all are doing and what y'all are trying to do for the people who are marginalized, disrespected, disregarded, and everything, because as Rose said, it's not right. And so why y'all was founded and what y'all created Black Lives Matter for is a great thing. It's a great thing. And Supremely Black supports you completely. But again, when you have a movement that's transitioning throughout America, throughout the world, throughout this time, y'all, I would say, I personally believe y'all should come out and say, well, Black Lives Matter supports everything that y'all are doing and supports what y'all stand on, but this ain't really what Black Lives Matter is about. So I just want to let y'all know this. So while y'all sending in this money or y'all want us to do all of this stuff, that's not really our mission or our vision. And we're not really trying to change our mission and our vision, because we can't forget the people that we started this for. And so therefore, we appreciate y'all jumping on. We appreciate what y'all doing, and we support y'all in y'all fight, and we stand together because Black lives do matter. But the Black lives that we really trying to fight for are the LGBTQ plus community, and not just the people who are wrongfully arrested, hurt, beat up, killed, disrespected, the disenfranchised, and all of that stuff. And so I just wish that they would do that. But again, I can't tell them what to do. And so it becomes a little tricky when people are silent. And we talked about this about another topic, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But we talked about this about another topic. It's hard to really give your opinion when people are silent, because you really don't know what they stand for. But then when they're quiet, it makes them seem guilty. So
yeah, I get you, because it's like the same point that we were asking about companies coming out and speaking of how do you feel about the social injustice or the racism that is going on, and people not speaking on it. It just leaves too many opportunities for people to create their own narrative. And we do it. We're human. We're going to have our own opinions, and they're entitled to do whatever they would like. But from when I say it, Black Lives Matter means everybody, no matter what you do, you feel me? So that's like really where I come from in that place. And I think that's where everybody is. And like, again, so when you looked at, as you read their mission statement, very well put together. And, it started after Trayvon. It was, the march in Ferguson for Michael Brown. It was, very detailed in exactly what you're doing. I think from feeling around and getting people's perspective, especially when in the barbershop talking about it, it's when you go from paragraph to paragraph, it starts to dive deeper into what they're really committed to and focused on. And I think that's when it switches the spin, and that's where people are picking apart. And I hate when people pick a particular section just to dive deep into, speak about it from its entirety. It can be confusing, and it is confusing. So that's why I'm glad we actually had this conversation. And again, I think everybody should, regardless of your race or, sex, none of that matters. It's do your research on what you're doing. But another key thing that I really liked that you had stated was that when you are silent and that's not your ultimate goal or end goal, it shows respect to everyone that wants to truthfully support your movement, whether we're talking about our podcast or anything. It's to be very clear and detailed in regards to who you really stand for and what you want the end goal to be, not just freelancing based off of us saying, okay, hey, we're supremely Black, but that doesn't, we don't hate white people. We don't do anything. We're against anybody that's not for a righteous cause, no matter what you do. And it doesn't mean that we feel that everything that we do is right. We call out our own flaws as well as individuals, as a community. And I think it's just important that, that they come out and at least have some kind of, put out some information to let us know exactly what's going on, especially since people are starting to nitpick, and you know how we do. We spin everything out of control. It gets on social media and do things like that. But, not doing your research is, ignorant just to speak on something because it's biased. But yeah, it's tough, but we'll see. Hope the best. What was your next question, Flake?
Well, yeah, I do have a question, but yeah. I guess if you're reading it a certain way, I guess it could make it seem like the Black LGBTQ plus communities on this side, and then Black males are on this side. It's like, we on this side, y'all on this side. Y'all get it how y'all live. We really supporting this right here and going further forward with it. So I can see how some people may get confused by reading that and looking into it. I think it would sound better, in my opinion. If you can put all that in there, just you can leave your mission statement exactly how it is and put fathers, straight men, come out support as well. And I feel like we probably wouldn't even be having this conversation if it just had one mention of Black men in it. Of course, it started with a Black man, passing away, and that dude not going to jail for it. That's pretty much how it started. That's why I said I think they just wrote that in mind, assuming that the Black men are welcome, but also we want to include the LGBTQ plus community as well to make sure they are secure. So would it, in your opinion, would it sound better, or would it be a better understanding if it was just one sentence in the entire statement that said, hey, Black men, Black fathers, however, husbands, you are welcome as well? Because if you read it and you don't read it open-mindedly, and you just read about Black family is welcome, and the Western modernization of a family, and it's like, well, where am I in the family? And I think that Black men take it that way, and it's not that we pumping our chest and saying, well, woe is me. It's just that we know since the day of white supremacy started, getting the Black male out of the house or not supporting his children or supporting his wife has been the theme from the beginning, especially with what they call it buck breaking, with the selling of the male slave and leaving his women and children somewhere, his wife and children somewhere else. We gonna sell the Black man off somewhere else, or even selling his wife somewhere else and breaking up the Black family entirely since white supremacy started. And if you read this statement and you read it a certain way, I can see where someone had that argument like, well, damn, here we go again. Here go our own people trying to break up a solid household of a family with a Black man inside the home trying to do what he can. Because the simple fact that men don't take care of their kids is, I say, majority false. Now, is there some out there that don't? I know that firsthand experience. My father was there. It's some people in my family that was not there, to be honest with you. I got friends whose fathers wasn't in the house, that their dad was there and helped take care of it, and and seeing their kids all the time, showed up to every game, every single thing they had going on. And it's I got some friends who dad that I've never seen a day in my life, and he can walk in front of my face and they be like, hey, that's so-and-so dad. I be like, it is? Because my dad done took his son to X, Y, Z, everywhere else. Where this man been? Because I ain't never seen him. We ain't never seen him before. So, but I think this majority false, and I think there's something that's been planted out there as well throughout the times. I've seen a lot, especially in the 80s and 90s, that black fathers are nowhere to be found. But I'm like, well, all the black fathers on my street seem to be here. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, some black fathers is not. So, so I can see how they would take it that way. I can see, and I just wish, and I might have to read, because Nashville got a chapter, and I might have to shoot them an email and just say, hey, this is our podcast, this is the episode we talked about. Would you like to come on and explain some things? See if I get a response. So let's see what happens. Because I really would like to know. I don't want this to fester that this is what it's about, and it's not totally about that. Because it ain't gonna do it but create division. Like every damn single thing happens when we try to come together. It seems like something happens that create division amongst us for whatever reason that is, and we seem to fall for the shit every single damn time.
Yeah, that's why I think it's important, and the key piece, man, is that honestly we don't have time for it, bro. Like anything that's really for us, we just need to make sure that we're all on the same page and move in unity. So many times we've seen over the years, things get broke up over just a simple misunderstanding. So I think just coming out and just being open with it, and wherever they stand, so I'm going to support it. Honestly, if they come out and just be completely real and say, no, this is what we stand for, which you are entitled to do so. And I'm going to support you even more because just keep it real. But I just feel like that's key, just to come out and just clear it up. So hopefully they will accept that invitation to either come on here or respond back to your email and just let them know. But it's such a key piece, man, because I feel like we're in a better spot and working in unison, and we don't need any more division than we already have. We have enough things that we're fighting for in-house within our own communities that we're cleaning up. And I know there's a lot of freedom fighters out here that are, in the trenches with people trying to make sure that we can stop the violence as much as possible. It's not going to change overnight. But respectfully, I've never seen anything as powerful as the Black Lives Matter movement since hearing and seeing videos about the Black Panther Party, to be completely honest with you. So I think it's important because when I talk to like my younger cousins and even my little sister, that movement means the absolute world to them because it gives them a sense of pride. Some things just, if they talk to some of their elders that they may not feel that they had coming up due to racism was really a thing for them growing up. So I just think it means too much for our community for it not to be cleared up. That's my stance on it, and I won't change that. But it means a lot, and us being unified and completely understanding will help even push forward the movement more. But not even just for us as adults, it's even for the kids that really have grew up and that's all they've heard is Black Lives Matter, and they see the movement. So I just think it means a lot to us and for them to, clear it up. Or not even necessarily say, I'm not going to use the word clear it up. Just speak on your stance. And people decide to support, still, support. But it's just key because a lot of us didn't grow up with that in the household. So we don't need the biggest thing that supports or our stance for us to be opposite of what our goal is which is, protect the black family and grow in unison and be at a better place when we leave this world for the next generation.
Yeah, I think the next generation is going to be real powerful with it because you think about it, even with my middle daughter, I don't think she's known as a black president until the new president we have now. And then the next thing she sees is a black woman running for vice president. And they are all growing up with seeing black billionaires, which I didn't see at their age, and multi-black millionaires, which I didn't see at their age at all either. So I think this next generation come up as yes, we can, and nobody can stop us from doing it because what is happening right now is that they are seeing those who can do it. We was coming up, we was just dreaming about it. We seen white billionaires, we seen no black billionaires. We didn't see billionaires of color. Let me say that because we didn't have the internet and didn't know that it was people in the Middle East with oil money that's been billionaires. But the ones they did show us was evil, and they was trying to print out as being evil and terrorists and everything else. So But I think that's a good thing to speak on. My bad, speakers. I ain't even cut y'all.
No, you good. I was just gonna go back to what you said. You said two things there, not this time, but with your original statement. So on the first statement, you asked, "Would we like to see them change or add that one thing in there?" I wouldn't like them to see change nothing. They could keep it exactly how they are because that's how I am about the stuff that I stand with and that I'm standing for. I'm not changing nothing for nobody. However, though, I would not allow somebody or to semi kind of trick people into thinking I am something that I'm not for, or that I am pushing this agenda when that's not the agenda I'm really trying to push. So they don't have to change nothing. They don't even have to mention black man, heterosexual man, a straight male in the household, a cis man in the household, or anything like that. They don't have to do that. But what they do need to do is make clear and concise what their mission, vision, and what they was founded on. And then therefore, people have a better understanding, okay, when I scream Black Lives Matter, am I screaming it because this goes for everybody in general? Or am I screaming it because I'm trying to support this certain sect of Black people in a certain culture or community? And so that's the only thing that I feel like they need to do from my research and what they're founded on and how, everything that you read and what they talk about. So they just need to come out and say, for the confusion, the misconception, whatever you want to call it, this is what we're really about. We appreciate everything y'all did coming to light because Black Lives Matter is so important. And as y'all mentioned, it's what the next generation is standing on. We're going to create a different, another entity in Black Lives Matter that strictly supports the plight, the disenfranchised, the marginalized, the social injustice part of the Black Lives Matter part. And our main focus is still for the LGBTQ plus community, and that's what we're going to do. So that's the only thing I would like to see them do. Now, the second part that you talked about, and this is something that we as a people forget, is taking the black man out of a household. And sometimes because we got so speaking independent women, independent this, I don't need a man, or we got so accustomed and used to our man be murdered, killed, in jail, doing crazy stuff, or just used to growing up without seeing a father, that they become just how their father was to them because they're repeating the generational curse. And so we got so used to that we forget that was a structure set up by them to keep us disfranchised and marginalized and to hurt us. And so sometimes we get so much on the, I'm an independent person, I don't need this sex or that sex to help me do this. I could do this all on my own, but we're stronger together. When we have a house that's combined, that's one, we're stronger together. So we got to realize that we got to stop falling for the trick that they set up for us a long time ago. Like you said, the buck breaking, and by selling the wife or even the children away from the parents or whatever the case may be, or by murdering the man in front of the children and the wife during slavery, that was something set up to keep us down. And if we keep following under that by the new term independence, we're going to keep repeating the cycle, and we're never going to get to our full potential because we allowed them to trick us. And instead of calling it buck breaking in 2020, it's called independence now. And so that's another thing that you touched on that I feel like us as a people need to realize, that sometimes, even though it's good to have independence, everything that we screaming is not for the betterment of us. And it's something that was set up and structured to keep us down and disenfranchised. And so that was just the only thing that I wanted to touch on about what you said.
Very, very important. Very important statement. We done went over our time a little bit this week. I apologize. I didn't give an early warning because It was a good conversation. It was a good conversation, passionate conversation. If you want to go ahead with the Black Business Minute, Mr. Spears, go ahead.
Give me 1 second. I'm pulling it up. I don't know why my internet want to trip right now on my phone, but I'm pulling it up.
All good. While you doing that, just heard of the weekend that they taking the Breonna Taylor case to Supreme Court, being viewed by Supreme Court. So let's see what happens there. Attorney General still a hoe.
And that's another thing I want to tell people too. Cause Rose said this earlier, Queen protection and everything. And I guess I could get y'all insight on it a little bit because I still don't know why my internet ain't pulling up. How do y'all feel about people screaming, say her name, but people aren't screaming, say George Floyd's name or say Jeff Blake's name or say anybody else's name? Does it bother you? Or does it make it seem like back to the Black Lives Matter thing as far as, the LGBTQ, that people are trying to put importance on the woman's life more than the man?
I can say just based off of how that could be perceived, it does not at any point bother me at all, because definitely say her name, Breonna Taylor. And again, like when the original issue started happening with the transgender women that were being killed and people being very disrespectful, and just it was all type of things that were showing up on the internet, and just not in respect for women. So I completely understand where their stance would come from that. I do not feel any way about it because if we're just being completely honest, I think their true Western way that they're speaking of is that women aren't as important as men are, which is a traditional Western way of looking at things. It's just like they're viewed as servants or easily replaceable. So again, I don't feel any harm with that. I know I'm a man. I know that the women that I have in my life are very supportive of me. And I do think that we should get away from the Western way of thinking and treating of women. So I don't see any issue with it. They should keep saying it. Keep saying her name. Anybody's. Like, I think everything is just, at this point, it's important. But nah, I ain't taking no offense to that.
I definitely don't take.
We connected though. No, you good.
I definitely don't take offense to that. I think before they start saying say her name, we had the issue with Sandra Bland. And I want to say her name was repeatedly said over and over and over and over again. So no, it don't bother me at all. Say anybody's name. I don't care. I don't care who it is. We say everybody's name. I think Derrick Henry wore a tuxedo today to the game. And it had the name of everybody on there. So I don't have a problem with it at all. For those who are saying, I think it's another, those who make an emphasis on it, I think it's another way. They might not be purposely doing division, but that's a way of unrecognizing that you are slick doing division between us. So you don't have to say her name to say their name. Just say the people's name. You can leave that whole part out. Just say their names however you want it.
Yeah. Quick, yeah, like I know for a fact I had to check myself on that one just to kind of add a little more as Chris pulls it up. Just getting away from the whole gender playing thing that they like to do with us. Because I ain't gonna say with us, we can get easily distracted with that, and that's definitely not it. Like Breonna, Sandra is no different from Mike Brown, Trey, none of that. Like to me, that plays no part in regards to just getting justice for those people and those families because they cannot get their lives back. I don't care if it's a him, her, what you classify as. That does not matter to me. So no, I think that's just some old foolishness they put out there. Now that is propaganda. That is to control the narrative. Like if they get to arguing about who matters more, about somebody dying, like come on, we smarter than that. We can't
Right.
off of that one.
Nah.
Yeah.
All right. So the Black Business Minute is the Buffalo Soldiers Museum out here in Houston, Texas. Through exhibitions and educational programming, visitors can explore the contributions of African Americans to the military, spanning back to the creation of the Buffalo Soldiers. All African American Army units consisting of former slaves and veterans of the Civil War beginning in 1866 to the present day. And so it's in Houston. And so again, it shows, it gives a history, and it shows and it presents some of the first soldiers who fought for what we call America today and stood for their freedom, but then also did great things to help America itself, but then to also help Black people as a whole. And so that is the Buffalo Soldiers National Museum in the Museum District in Houston, Texas. And again, they have a website, and the website is buffalosoldiersmuseum.com. And you could go on there, and they also explain more about their mission, their vision, and their purpose. But again, it's just a museum to educate people, especially the youth, in the past of the great soldiers who allowed us to have the freedoms that we have now for America, but then not only for America, for Black people as a whole, because they was the first, and they're surely not the last, but they're the first people who defended us and also our country as one, trying to help us get some fair social justices that we deserve and stop some of these iniquities and these things that we're still going through in 2020. And again, that started in 1866.
Good stuff. Good stuff. First time I've heard of that. Wish I would have known. How long has it been there?
Oh, now that's a good question. Give me a second and I'll get back to you.
I
So
know.
do yours.
That's cool. I was gonna say if I've known it was there when I was down in Houston a few years ago, I sure would have made sure I made a stop by there. But Supremely Black is gonna be people this week, and I'm gonna give it up to give D.Rose so I can spell them, even though they just got it also nationally on the versus battle, and there's gonna be Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight. So shout out to those ladies. They definitely deserve those roses. Man, they go back. I think Gladys said she started singing when she was 4 years old and bringing her voice to the table. So those are two women with powerful voices. I'll be honest with y'all, man, I do like the new R&B today, but I do sit back and wonder, where are the women and men with those type of voices that sing in R&B, they put the chill on your arms when they hit certain notes. You know what I'm saying? And we're the ones that, you know, when you driving and they sing that song and they sing it so powerful, you be like, you know what? I'm gonna get my act together. So big shout out to those ladies, those beautiful women. They are Supremely Black People of the Week. Gladys Knight, Patti. If you like my kids, one of my kids said, Patti LaBelle sing? I thought she was just a cook. Let me turn on this versus battle and let you listen. What are you talking? What you talking? I feel like I failed as a parent just did. What you talking? What you talking? Hurt my little feelings, man.
Nah.
I gotta remember though. They ain't came out with a new album since they've been alive, so they don't know. They don't know them though.
Shoot, Rose might not know.
Rose know about that Patti.
Yeah, I done heard a few cuts, but I couldn't just name off no songs. I probably know if I heard it, you know, cleaning up in my grandmama's house and my auntie them cribs. So, you know, yeah, I done heard it. Yeah.
But Flake, I think 2012, but it really doesn't say on their website, but their copyright begins 2012 to circa now to 2020. So I want to say 2012 is when they started or was founded or began in Houston at least.
That's cool. Next time in the area, I'll make sure I gotta pull up on them. See what's up. But you guys got anything to say before we get up out of here?
I just want to say I love y'all. we love all Black lives. We support all Black people, and we just want to see y'all win and succeed. And I do want to say this. I know it's a rhetorical question because y'all can't actually get back to me, but I just want to make sure y'all okay. So if y'all not okay, if y'all need somebody to vent to, hit us on our email, supremelyblackpodcast@gmail.com. And I just want to make sure my people are okay. So again, if you ever need somebody to reach out to, you can hit me on CSpears7 at Instagram and reach out on there as well. But a lot of times we go through life and we just assume people are okay, but they might not be okay. And with everything that's going on for us and our people in America right now, I just want to make sure all y'all okay. So if y'all need to just get something off your chest and y'all don't even want a response, but y'all just need to get off your chest, hit our email, hit me personally on Instagram, or you can hit the Supremely Black Podcast Instagram as well. And we'll say a prayer for you, or we'll just, keep you on our hearts and our mind. Or if you want a response, you can say, please respond, and we'll respond too. But one thing that we do got to do as Black people is make sure that we are okay with as each other, the people that we come into touch with, even a total stranger, because we are going through a lot. And this stuff could be mentally, emotionally, and physically straining on you. So I just want to make sure y'all okay.
Very heartfelt message there, my brother. I completely agree with you on that one. I'll just leave it with this, is that do your research, be open-minded, and it's also very much okay to disagree. That's just part of life. And there's nothing wrong with having these conversations, even though sometimes we may shy away from them. It's definitely needed. And make sure, for myself, and I just kind of hold everybody else that I'm around accountable to it, is don't take the bait so easily to allow people to sway you from your original thoughts and what you're really passionate about, because at the end of the day, it's your choice to support anything or anybody. But let that be your decision that you're making, and not because you heard it from your big kinfolk, Jay Flake or Spears. Make sure you have your own mind and stand on your own 10 with that. That's what I leave everybody with. But be safe, be blessed, and continue to push forward.
Good work there, my brother. I ain't got nothing else. I thought I did, but it escaped me, so I guess it went up for it. But we about to close this thing out. For all my women out there, put your crown on, tilt that thing to the side. Let them know that you are a queen. For all my men out there, put your crown on, tilt that thing to the side. Let them know you are a king. LGBTQ plus community or not, we are all supremely Black. Thank y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day.